Hello, welcome to Unboxed God, where we detox from religion and discover the God who refuses to fit inside the boxes we were given. I'm Tolu Sarah Johnson, and here we explore who God really is, beyond fear, beyond formulas, and beyond everything we were taught to perform. If you're hungry for a real relationship with Him, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. Wow. So, this is going to be a really short video. It's just the conclusion of the parable of the theme of accepting. So, as we're closing the theme of accepting and moving on to the theme of growing, before growth begins, before Jesus ever speak about growth, fruit or maturity, it makes one thing unmistakably clear. You belong. The parable of acceptance were not given to motivate effort. They were given to dismantle fear. Together, they answer one foundational question. Every soul carries, am I truly wanted in the kingdom of God? But, of course, through the parable of the dinner guests, Jesus revealed that invitation does not go first to the impressive, the prepared, or the religious, but to those who never expected to be asked at all. Through the parable of the feast invitation, it showed us that rejection does not cancel the feast. The kingdom does not shrink when people refuse it. It expands towards those who will receive it. Through the parable of the groom attendants, we learn that the kingdom is not entered through money or striving, but through joy, a celebration of presence, not a test of devotion. Through the parable of the humble guest, Jesus gently overturned hierarchy, reminding us that honor is not seized but received, and that lowering ourselves is not lost but safety. Through the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it dismantled comparison and merit, declaring that grace is not measured by time served, effort exerted, or fairness understood, but by the generosity of the Father. Through the parable of the landowner, we encountered a God who owes no explanation, yet remains relentlessly good, generous beyond human logic, free from human bargaining. And through the parable of the marriage feast, Jesus brought it all together. A prepared celebration, open doors, unexpected guests, and a kingdom defined not by worthiness but by willingness to come. So, what has accepting accomplished? By the end of this parable, something vital has shifted. You're no longer wondering, have I done enough? Do I qualify? Am I too late? Jesus has already answered. The invitation was real. The seat was prepared. The door was opened before you arrived. Accepting is the moment the soul exhales. Accepting is not the end, but it is the foundation. Yet, Jesus never leaves us merely seated. Acceptance does not demand growth, but it makes growth possible. Because growth that begins in fear produces striving, and growth that begins in grace produces life. Jesus does not rush us from the table. He allows belonging to settle. Only then does he begin to speak of seeds, soil, change, and transformation. So the quiet turn towards growth. As we move into the theme of growth, if accepting answer the question, am I wanted? Then growth will gently ask, what happens now that I am? Not as pressure, not as performance, but as something organic, life responding to love. So Jesus' closing word in accepting is not command. It is reassurance. You are not growing to earn your place. You are growing because your place is secure. So rest here for a moment. Let the feast linger. Let the welcome settle, because what comes next is not about doing more. It's about life beginning to rise naturally in a heart that finally knows it belongs. And I hope you've been blessed. See you in the next theme of growing. God bless.